What exactly is it that makes this frog-eyed, top hat wearing firebender such a crucial character even with all that's going on in the current world of One Piece? Well, today I will tell you exactly why Sabo's return is so important, and stay tuned to the very end of the video as we analyze a very overlooked but crucial detail, and that is Sabo's top hat. That's right, Luffy's legendary straw hat is not the only hat with severe significance to the world of One Piece. So make sure you hit that like button as it really helps boost us in the algorithm and continues to grow our channel at a rapid rate. And without further ado, this is Sabo, the face of the revolution. Since Sabo's arrival, he has been a fan favorite across the entire One Piece community. It's interesting because Sabo's appearances have been very minimal and it feels like Oda still has so much to explore with his character. But although he has not had a huge direct impact on the story so far, what if I told you that Sabo is actually one of the most important characters with the entire world of One Piece? And to understand this idea fully, we first have to start with what his role is within the revolutionaries. Sabo is the chief staff of the revolutionaries, the number 2 to one of the world's most heinous criminals, Monkey D. Dragon. Sabo had his life saved after seeking a life of freedom, running away from his corrupt, privileged elite status. Interestingly enough, Sabo was a Sake sworn brother to Ace and Luffy, which, wow, look how things turned out. Dragon wants nothing to do with his son Luffy, but he actually raised, trained, and took Sabo under his wing, raising the amnesiac boy to adapt the values and lifestyle of a revolutionary. Dragon is the revolutionary, but if there is anyone who holds the same amount of dedication to the cause, it's Sabo. The man who was attacked by a world noble and nearly lost his life at a young age. He lost his memories, but what he gained was the inherited will of the greatest enemy of the Celestial Dragons, Monkey D. Dragon. While Dragon is a dark and mysterious villain in the eyes of the One Piece world's elitist structure and world government, a man who seeks the world's greatest taboos vanishes into thin air like Casper, and when he does appear, he truly looks like a complete menace to society, appearing as one of the most suspicious looking characters in the entire series, with a hood on at all times shrouding his identity. And let's just keep it real here, because I know if I saw Dragon in person, the man known as the world's greatest criminal, I would myself immediately. The homeless looking man with no eyebrows, a terrifying Will of D smile of insanity, and one of the gnarliest face tats you've ever seen. But on the other hand, and more specifically his right hand, Sabo has inherited his ideals and possibly his mindset as well, but Sabo has a much different presence in the One Piece story. Sabo, from his childhood to even now, is a derpy, pure-hearted, inspiring young beacon of light, with the fire fruit now in his grasp as a symbolic inheritance of Ace. But like Blackbeard once said, the fire fruit represents the light. My point in bringing this up is the perception of Sabo. He has the iconic goggle top hat, he is the beacon for hope and inspiration. Sabo, just like Luffy, is anti-celestial dragon. This mentality is something so taboo. Something so terrifying to show in public. In this scenario, simply standing up for your beliefs is a crime. This is the very reason why someone like Sabo is actually so important. Bello Betty's Devil Fruit is a functioning part of the uprising, the power to inspire physically weak and weak-willed people into standing up for themselves and believing in the revolution. With the Celestial Dragon's rule being so powerful, so absolute, being compared to God, sitting atop the Holy Land for centuries, you can imagine just how normalized this disgusting rule has become. Sabo stands out as he is someone who since a child would do what he wants and go against these injustices. Monkey D. Dragon actually should remain hidden, shrouded in mystery from the world, making moves in the background until the final war. Strategically, with how important he is, this makes sense. It's beneficial for Dragon to lead from the shadows. But let's simply look at this from a marketing perspective. Who would you prefer as the face of the franchise, Dragon or Sabo? Me personally, I'm taking Sabo, no doubt. And this leads me to an important question. What is the goal of the revolutions? When you look at the end goal of the revolutions, it's to take down the celestial dragons, but to do this you need to recruit. You need to bring people and inspire them into your militia. Dragon gets straight down to business, which of course is important to a revolution, and from what we know about Sabo, he commands with respect and loyalty from his allies and friends. He also brings good vibes and he's a charismatic young leader. Sabo is the change that you want to see, so you can see how this image and perception that I mentioned earlier could actually be so important. Dragon and Sabo has spent years building up this army, building up the reputation throughout the world, and with Sabo at the forefront of this, it's easier for people to look in at the revolutions and say, okay, maybe they're not so bad. When we're talking about hopeless people, recruiting them, bringing them to support the cause, Sabo's smiling face gives you hope and strength even at your lowest moments. And this is a key to a political anti-establishment movement. We're talking about people who already deal with intense fear from these elites who run the world. If Dragon was actually the face of the revolution, it could cause massive turnoff and only cause more fear. In this world where there are many citizens who already have their doubts when it comes to the world government and their corruption, adding a dark, shady, mysterious figure might only add more fear into the world. So with the contrast of Sabo being a bright light, a bright hope, and inspiration, you have a perfect duality between Sabo and his adopted father, Monkey D. Dragon. So I've made my point that Sabo is a very likable person and character, and I love this trait because it makes me love him even from the beginning when he's introduced as a child. But this also functions as a world building feature. More importantly, let's get into an even more important trait than the likability factor, and that is Sabo's leadership qualities. Sabo is not afraid to go toe to toe with an admiral. He is someone who brings people together. We see Fire Fist Ace and Luffy as kids, and Luffy is annoying as hell, and Ace is basically telling Luffy to f*** off. You have the hothead versus the crackhead, two insane and passionate brothers clashing, but Sabo does not take sides. Instead, Sabo is actually the one who brings the three together. He is not afraid to call out Ace or tell Luffy to shut the hell up. Eventually they all come together in the end and unite with Sake to achieve their pirate dreams. So yeah, Sabo calmly dealing with absolute insane individuals like Luffy and Ace is a key factor to who he is. One thing to remember is just how mature he really was ever since day one. Seriously, this is the most mature 10-year-old I think I've ever seen. We also know that Sabo is respected by the higher ups of the revolution like Limburg and Dragon. Once again, completely insane individuals. Sabo has to deal with these absolute psychos on a day-to-day basis. In chapter 1053, we see Sabo being in the background as the citizens of this area are breaking down into tears. Now, this is purely speculation, but what if this place is an island or a city that the revolutionaries liberated? With Sabo's disastrous mystery surrounding what happened to him at the reverie, you can see just how impactful he was to the world. Everyone who knows Sabo truly loves him for who he is, and now let's talk about the importance of Sabo's hat. But before that, make sure you hit that like button if you have enjoyed the video so far, and subscribe and hit that bell like Luffy and Skypiea to get this video out to many more One Piece fans like yourself. Luffy has the straw hat, but Sabo has another iconic hat, the black and blue top hat with the goggles on top. The straw hat symbolizes the dawn arriving, Joy Boy, and the inherited will being passed down. The top hat might not be as important as Joy Boy's straw hat, but what if I told you that it is as influential, at least in the current era? You see, Sabo's hat is also a symbol, but a symbol of revolution. Simply put, Sabo is the face of the franchise, and his hat is the popular hat that symbolizes the revolutionary might. You might be asking, how do I know all of this? Well, we know that Sabo wore his hat even in his flashback at Dawn Island. Like I mentioned earlier, with Sabo bringing people together, I believe it was the revolutionaries who chose Sabo as their own symbol, and eventually the world recognized this as well. If you notice, Sabo influenced 3 of the 4 revolutionary commanders to wear the goggles on their heads: Bello Betty, Morley, and even Limburg. And you might say, yeah, it's just a fashion trend and Sabo accidentally started this. Well, that might be somewhat true, but we also know that Koala is someone who absolutely adores Sabo. But if you look back, you might not remember or realize it, but we actually saw Koala in Fisher Tiger's flashback. It's easy to overlook this because it's such a random detail, a free slave by the Sun Pirates. But what we notice is that Koala did not wear this goggle style hat until we see her again as a revolutionary. So we know that she is really close to Sabo, and I believe that it was Sabo who who inspired her to wear a hat like this, and because of Sabo's pure heart and dedication to the revolutionaries, it was Koala and the commanders that proud of Sabo to be the symbol. Another point is that Sabo is the youth. In One Piece, we know how the One Piece generation works. Whitebeard wanted Ace to become the Pirate King, Luffy is the leading force of Joy Boy, of the Supernovas, and the next generation, and Sabo is also up next, a hope for the revolution. Nico Robin also learned fishman karate techniques from the revolutionaries as well. She spent significant time with Sabo and Koala, and we see just how excited Koala is to see her again in Dressrosa. If you think about it, Robin spent more time with them than the Straw Hats. She is just as much loyal to Dragon and Sabo as she is to Luffy, and this is like another family in a place that she's always belonged.
Sabo!
She's also extremely important to the revolutionary army, gaining the name of the Light of the Revolution. And since she's a very dangerous criminal, this once again leaves Sabo to carry the face and perception on his shoulders instead of Robin and Dragon. In Dressrosa, I believe that we might have seen a little Easter egg from Oda, where Robin puts on her glasses on top of her hat, mimicking the revolutionary symbol. But you let me know in the comments if this is a reference, a symbol to indicate her revolutionary commitment. And so now that you understand how Sabo transformed the perception and influence of the revolutionary army throughout the One Piece world as the true face, it shows you just why Sabo is so important. These same reasons apply to why Sabo is so loved within the One Piece community and why he's even picked above Green Bull, Pluton, Emperor Buggy, and the Straw Hat bounties. Even with all the time that's passed, it's Sabo who still remains as the character that everyone wants to learn about. What happened to him at the Reverie? Is he alive? Well, if you're interested, you can watch this video to find out.